Thank you, everyone. I'm honored to join all of you today and to speak with distinguished leaders in transportation and infrastructure in our state and in our region. All of you are working hard right now, I know, on a set of complex issues that are incredibly important to the future and the fabric of each of our communities. So I thank you on behalf of myself and the governor and the whole state of New Mexico. I especially want to thank everyone at New Mexico State University, educators, students, and leaders. As an institution, you are problem solvers, and you continue to lead our state in countless ways. I am grateful to New Mexico State University for continually keeping its focus on finding practical ways to address common problems that we face, for the research that you undertake to help all of us, and for convening people like today to work through these policies and these challenges and look for solutions in a collaborative way. Let's face it, it's been a year like no other. None of us have experienced this over the last 100 years, but our transportation companies, many who are here with us today, our contractors, engineers, workers, have all survived it. You have come through this with resilience. You are part of the solution. You are essential workers, and we are grateful to each one of you. When we increase infrastructure and transportation projects in our state and our communities, we create good paying jobs. That means a better quality of life for our residents, for all of us. And that is what we all want. The past year of the pandemic means that we have a real opportunity to look with fresh eyes at some of the big challenges that we face and maybe find solutions where they have eluded us in the past. I think we saw good evidence of that in this last legislative session that we just finished a few weeks ago. We will make historic investments in broadband in New Mexico that will, until now, we have only talked about. Distance work and distance learning have made broadband an urgent priority, and it's a good thing. I speak for myself and the governor when I say that we are committed to working together with local governments to transform New Mexico into a thriving state with more economic activity, better revenue for meeting the needs of residents, including infrastructure needs, and more opportunity. That means infrastructure, because infrastructure is what makes the economy move. And that includes many things, including broadband, roads, water systems, but also items we may not associate with traditional infrastructure. Because infrastructure is indeed the foundation that allows us to go about our lives. As Transportation Secretary Buttigieg said recently, we are committed to responsible, forward-looking investments in public school classrooms and in our educators. And that includes early childhood education, K-12, and higher ed. I know all of you stand strongly with us on these worthy goals. Over the past 2.5 years, our administration, we increased spending on state and local infrastructure projects by several $billions for roads, rooftop solar panels, high-speed internet, and so on. Billions more for capital projects, which are always a strong boost that create more jobs and strengthen New Mexico's economy. Despite the setback of the past year, we have seen historic revenue surpluses. New Mexico is still in a good position, and we are making good decisions. But we still have a long way to go, because there are more than $1 billion in identified road repair needs alone today. The majority of our major roads and highways are ranked in poor or mediocre condition. When we think about the long term, we know that we need to do better, because here in New Mexico, as in most states, investment in our public infrastructure remains lower than it was 20 years ago, according to the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities. I say that we should continue to make new and increased investments in transportation, public buildings, water treatment systems, and other vital infrastructure priority. That is how we attract and grow jobs, build a better economy now and in our future. Let's keep the progress going. We invested a good chunk of the oil boom revenue surplus in building out infrastructure in 2019, but we still have a ways to go. If we pull back the camera and put this topic into perspective, nationally, we just look at what China's doing. China is investing billions year after year to upgrade outdated power networks, for all kinds of improvements in water projects, broadband, solar, public transit, bridges and rural roads, high-speed rail. It's staggering. China spends more on economic infrastructure annually than North America and Western Europe combined. Combined. Shortly before he left office last year, California Governor Jerry Brown met with China's president. After the meeting where they discussed the issues of infrastructure, Brown said, if we're going to be a great power, we all want to be, we're going to have to start rolling up our sleeves, raising some revenue, and getting the job done. I agree. We have needed a lot more focus and resources nationally on our infrastructure for a long time, and it's finally happening now. There's really good news coming from Washington. President Biden has proposed a $2 trillion plan to improve the nation's infrastructure, and he intends to enact it in the next few months. He's not waiting. It's a federal priority. We welcome that here in our state as well. Together with leadership from our federal government and leadership we have demonstrated here in New Mexico, I think we can meet the really big challenge to make the long-term infrastructure investments that support a 21st century economy. Your role in it is central. Please don't ever forget that. And thank you for your commitment